Earth was an outlier. In a galaxy teeming with civilizations, it remained a place where few dared to tread. Its atmosphere was an affront to most alien physiologies, its seasons too extreme, its creatures unpredictable. Of the sparse list of species that could endure Earth's conditions, none were more alien to humans than the Kael'thar. The Kael'thar thrived in conditions humans found inhospitable arid deserts, acidic wetlands, the deep cold of Earth's polar regions. Their physiology and thought patterns were so distinct that communication was a slow and delicate dance of adaptation. Still, the Galactic Exchange sought opportunities for collaboration. Earth's ecosystems held value beyond measure, and studying them required joint efforts. This was how Dr. Sam Carter, a human marine biologist, and Va'ana, a Kael'thar biologist, found themselves assigned to a year-long mission at a research station far up north to study the curious behaviors of Earth's seagull populations. Neither was particularly thrilled by the arrangement. Sam had volunteered for the mission to escape the shadow of his grief, the empty apartment, the unspoken reminders of his wife, gone too soon. He sought solace in isolation, hoping that the cold winds of the Arctic could numb the ache in his chest. Va'ana's motivations were simpler. It sought silence, a respite from the cacophony of Kael'thar life. The Kael'thar believed deeply in balance, but Va'ana found balance easier to achieve when no one else was around. This mission, in a cold and barren environment, seemed ideal. Va'ana, a Kael'thar, was an oddity to Sam. Its spherical body, supported by multiple long, twitching eye stalks, gave it an eerie, otherworldly look. It moved with a peculiar grace, deforming its shape as it moved, flattening or elongating with ease. As they trudged toward the station for the first time, Sam glanced at the endless expanse of rock and ice. He stuffed his hands into his pockets, exhaling a misty breath. Va'ana flicked a tendril toward him but said nothing, focusing instead on the distant sound of the waves. Sam gazed at the barren landscape. Endless waves crashed against jagged rocks, and the cold wind howled across the desolate coast. It was a place of rugged beauty, raw and untamed. For Va'ana, it was lifeless, a void where the earth was too still and the sea too loud. Va'ana didn't respond, its many eyes fixed instead on a nearby rock. Speckled with white, it was covered in seagull droppings. Sam followed its gaze and frowned. "That's gross." Va'ana's tendrils curled slightly. "The contrast." "It is. Beautiful." "You like poop?" Sam asked, his voice tinged with disbelief. "It is life," Va'ana replied simply. Sam shook his head. "Right. Life." He gestured to the crashing waves and the endless horizon. "Now that's real beauty. The sound of the ocean, the expanse of the sky. That's what I see." Va'ana's tendrils twitched. "The seagulls. Their calls. Their rhythm. That is beauty. Who in their right mind loves the sound of seagulls?" Sam shot back, irritation bubbling up. "I do," Va'ana said with quiet conviction. Sam sighed. "It's going to be a long winter." Silently they trotted along. The research station was still far off, and their quarrel hung between them like a cold wind. Then a faint, high-pitched cry broke through the sound of the waves. Both stopped in their tracks, listening. The sound came again, weak, desperate. It is coming from the shore," Va'ana said, its voice tinged with urgency. Without another word, they followed the sound, their earlier disagreement forgotten. As they neared, a whale calf came into view, stranded at the edge of the tide. Its sleek body heaved with shallow breaths, its tail trapped in the sand. Va'ana stopped, its tendrils trembling. "We must help." Sam's mind raced as he assessed the situation. "It's too heavy to lift. We'll need the tide." "Must help," Va'ana interrupted, insistent. "Fine," Sam muttered, stepping toward the calf. "Just stay out of my way." Va'ana moved closer, its tendrils curling around the calf's fin with surprising care. Lift. No, Sam barked. That'll hurt it. We have to keep it wet first. Keep it alive until the tide comes in. Vana paused, its tendrils retreating slightly. You speak. Slow. Understand. Sam exhaled sharply, then nodded. Okay. You shield it from the sun. I'll handle the water. And so they began, their actions awkward and uncoordinated at first. Vana stretched its pliable body to shade the calf from the sun, while Sam soaked his jacket in the nearest pool of water, draping it over the calf's drying skin. Hours passed. The sun climbed higher and their work grew desperate. Sam's limbs ached and his breaths came in short gasps. He glanced at Vana, whose tendrils now drooped with exhaustion. You okay? Sam asked, his voice rough. No time. No fail. Help must, Vana replied, its tone steady despite its trembling limbs. Sam hesitated, then extended his hand. Here. I need something to cover its tail. Without hesitation, Vamana passed a strip of fabric to him. Their hands brushed briefly, but neither lingered on the moment. Sam secured the fabric and stepped back to assess their work. We make a great team, he said, his tone cautious but sincere. Vana regarded him silently, then said, We must help. We did. Balance is sought. Sam nodded, feeling the weight of the alien's words, though he did not fully understand them. But it didn't matter. They had done it together, and that was enough. At last, the tide began to rise. Water swirled around the calf's body and it stirred, releasing a weak but audible sound. Vana hummed softly, as though encouraging it. Come on, Sam whispered. You can do this. With a final effort, the calf moved, its tail slapping against the water as it swam free. Moments later, a larger shape surfaced the mother whale. The calf swam toward her, leaping into the air before they disappeared together into the waves. Sam and Vamana stood side by side, watching in silence. The ripples of their efforts faded into the endless ocean. Vana reached out and took Sam's hand, its tendrils warm and firm. This is beauty. Sam's voice was thick with emotion. Yeah, it is. He glanced at Vana, their shared understanding settling over them like the tide. Maybe, just maybe, the winter wouldn't seem so long this time.